Hi, and congratulations on your 2021 Nissan Sentra SR Premium. This is a head turner of a car. It's an amazing drive, a lot of fun, very, very good on gas, and just an all-around great vehicle. I know that you're going to love it. It's why you bought it, but let's go back over the features that you got with it. And at the end, if you still have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch and we'll help you out in any way that we can. We're going to start on our infotainment system here, where I have a beautiful 8-inch touchscreen display. Everything here is full touchscreen. My audio sources, I've got AM, FM, satellite radio, which is free for the first 3 months. If you don't want it after that, don't do anything. If you do, it's going to revert back to the preview channel. Just give them a call. They're great to deal with and very easy to get along with. They'll get you hooked up in a hurry. USB 1 and 2, and as I see down here, they are a Type-C and a traditional USB port. Bluetooth, auxiliary, and what we don't see because it hasn't been hooked up yet is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So lots of audio sources, great ways to listen to your music on your Bose premium sound system that you do get with the premium version. Now we're going to go into our settings. First thing I want to do is fix my clock because right now it is 1 hour behind. So I'm going to go into clock, set clock manually. I'm going to increase this by 1 hour and 1 minute because I know it's behind, so it's now changed here as well as over here on my driver's assist display. We're going to back up 2 screens to get back where we were. To hook up a phone, you're going to go into connections and then you're going to press add new. From there on your phone, you're going to go into your settings. You're going to go to Bluetooth. If you have an Android phone, you might have to go to connections first and then Bluetooth. Once you're inside, you're looking for My Sentra. When you tap on it, you will get a window pop up with a number on it. It should match the window that's on the display here. Hit pair or OK. And then on an Apple phone, you're going to press allow once. On an Android, you're going to do it twice. Once this is done, if you have an Android phone and you have a lock screen, you want to back out to the main settings screen, go down to lock screen or security, and then into lock screen. Then you're looking for smart lock. You're going to add a trusted device under trusted devices, and you're going to add My Sentra. If you don't do this, your phone will disconnect on you before you hit the end of the parking lot, so let's get that taken care of right away. If you have an Apple phone, you don't need to worry about those steps. Once you're connected, everything is done. You can back out, and the fastest way to jump right back out, just push your audio button here. And with our backup camera, this is really neat. We hear the rear sonar, and we'll go over that when we get to the settings. I'm going to press OK to dim that. I have my backup camera here, but I also have a 360-degree bird's eye view around the vehicle. This is accomplished using the backup camera for the lower quadrant, a camera up in the Nissan emblem or just below it for the upper quadrant, and cameras under your side mirrors for the side quadrants. This also gives you moving object detection, which means if there's anything moving within range of any of these 4 cameras, it will highlight the quadrant where you have movement. Great little feature. We have distance markers here, so green, yellow, and red hash marks. As you hear, once we start to get within the green hash marks, it's going to start to beep, and how fast that beeping is depends on how close you are to it. The closer you get, the faster the beeping will be. We also have predictive lines to help as you're backing up, depending on the direction that you're going with it. Down below here, we have our dual climate control. With this, I recommend find a temperature that you like and press auto, and then don't worry about it. This will get you up or down to that temperature as fast as possible, and then once you start getting close, it'll do only what it has to maintain that temperature. For the dual climate control, all I got to do is turn my dial over here, and I can set the passenger side to something different than what the driver's side is set for. Once your passenger gets out, simply press the sync button and everything will go back. My heated seats are right up here. I've got high, low, and off. And I also have my heated steering wheel right here in the center. Great feature for the winter time. We looked at the USB ports down below already. My start button is down here, so simply put your foot on the brake, push and let go of the button while keeping your foot on the brake, and your vehicle will start for you. Once you get where you're going, shift to park, and then just press the start-stop button. Your foot no longer needs to be on the brake when you do that part. Now there is an additional little button on the back of your gear shift here. So we're going to go down and drive, and I can see right here. Now I'm going to push this little button on the back, and I see an S show up beside my drive indicator. That means I'm in sport mode. So if I'm losing my passing lane and I want to get out and around somebody in a hurry, I can hit sport. My RPMs will rev a little bit higher, but I'm going to have a little more torque or responsiveness from the motor, allowing me to get out and around that person in a hurry. Just don't forget to take it back out of sport mode, as it is harder on the gas. Down here on the steering wheel, we've got our cruise control, which is adaptive cruise control. This turns it on, as we see in the upper right hand corner of the driver assist display screen. And I also see that my adaptive cruise is now set. And by default, I've got 3 car lengths plus safe distance, which I can adjust using this button right here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that down to 2 or 1, back up to 3. Now, the other neat thing is, if I turn the cruise back off, and I'm going to press and hold this button this time, and now I have normal cruise. It's no longer adaptive cruise, so if you're not familiar with it or not comfortable with it yet, you just want your normal cruise, all you gotta do is press and hold the button until you see the change on the screen, and then you have normal cruise. Now, the moment I turn it off and then just press it to go back on, it's automatically back into adaptive cruise. My Bluetooth hands-free is right here. This button will answer call or hang up. The voice button is going to allow me to make an outbound call or access the voice recognition system on your phone, depending on the type of phone that you have. So if you have an Apple phone and Siri is set up, you can access Siri by pressing and holding that for 2 seconds. Google Assistant is also available if your Android phone is so equipped with it. On the left side of my wheel, I've got my volume for my radio.
And just woody.
Which works very well. My 2 buttons here are going to go through my presets. So if I look over here, I'm on preset number 3. I'm going to go to the left for 2, and then 1, and then if I go back right, I go back again. Great little features. Now, for my driver assist display screen, I'm going to put us back on the home screen, and that is fully controlled with the OK button with the arrows around it, and my back button depending on which screen I'm in. So up here, I'm on the home screen right now. I have a digital speedometer as well as my radio info on the bottom of the screen. But on the right corner of the screen, I see an up and a down arrow. That means that there are additional screens from the home screen that if I press down, I now have my digital speedometer and an average speed. Now I'm going to press the OK button to reset that. Then we're going to go back to the main screen again. One screen over to the right is going to give me my fuel economy, which is running extraordinarily high, and we will see why in just a moment. Next screen to the right shows me my tire pressure once I start to drive. So as soon as I start to drive, it will populate all 4 wheels of this, as you do have a tire pressure monitoring system. And then from there, no matter what screen you're on, you don't need to be on this screen, but if you're on any other screen, as well as on this screen, if you get a low tire, it will pop up with a warning that says low tire pressure. From there, it's going to tell you which of the 4 tires is low and what the exact pressure is. When you pull into a service station or somewhere that's got an air pump, leave your vehicle running, go to the air pump, get the hose, if need be, pop in the money to start it up, go to the tire that it says needs air and start putting air in. Now, as long as your vehicle is running, once you get up to the correct pressure, the horn will beep once to tell you to stop putting air in. If for some reason you keep putting air in, or maybe you've gone to the wrong tire, when you get to the upper limit, it will beep 3 times in a row, and we ask you to do one of 2 things when this happens. If you hit the upper limit, it's going to beep 3 times in a row. Please either do the same thing to the other 3 tires so that you have the same pressure in all 4 tires and even tread wear, or start letting air back out of the tire that just hit the upper limit, and once it gets back down to the correct pressure, it's going to beep the horn once to tell you to stop. Now again, I see up and down arrows on the right hand side there, so we're going to go down a screen, and this is why our fuel economy is so ridiculously high right now. This vehicle has gone 26.9 kilometers in 6 hours and 56 minutes. We're going to press and hold to reset that. We're going to jump back 1 screen to the left and do the same thing. That way everything is reset for right now. Our next screen down is called traffic sign recognition. Now, this is a neat feature where as you pass by a speed limit sign, it will post it very large down here, but it's also going to post it up here as well, up between the temperature and the time there. That way, if you're driving along and maybe you missed the speed limit sign, or maybe you're on a country road somewhere and you don't remember what the speed limit is, it will always be there on your dash for you. We're going to go back to the top there and then head to the next screen on the right. And this is our radio info. From this screen here, I have total control of everything to do with my audio, all with the push of my thumb while I'm driving, without having to take my hands off the wheel or my eyes off the road. So I've already showed that you can adjust the volume here. We can go through our presets, or if you're streaming through Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, or USB, you can skip tracks with these two buttons. But from this screen here, if I press the OK button, I change the source of my audio. I can now pick and choose where I want my audio to go from and press OK again. And you can see it's just flipped over. Next screen over to the right, this one was for the adaptive cruise, and as we talked about, it will show you your distance here. Now, just to put things in perspective, when I say 3 car lengths plus safe distance, if I'm driving at 1 car length plus safe distance at 100 kilometers an hour, there is approximately 2.5 car lengths of space between me and the vehicle ahead of me when we start to engage that adaptive cruise. Next screen down gives me all my safety features. Now, there will be visuals to go on with these, but you are going to be more concerned with what's going on around you than you are watching the screen here for the visuals. So let's go over our safety features. In the front, we have forward collision warning. This is something you will experience. I get it a couple times a week just due to the traffic in my area. At the end of the day today, when I'm heading home, I've got a hill that I'm going to go up. The speed limit is 60, and at the top of the hill, there is a turnoff where a lot of people who live in that subdivision are going to turn in, and they'll be doing 10 or 15 kilometers an hour around the turn. As soon as the vehicle gets within range, that the radar picks up that vehicle and now recognizes I'm closing that distance really fast because I'm going 45 or 50 kilometers an hour faster than what they are. Inside the vehicle, it's going to beep at me and flash a warning at the top of the screen here, and that warning is either going to be yellow or red depending on how close you are when it happens. Once they finish rounding the turn, nothing else happens. However, if they hit the brakes, or maybe the car in front of me on the hill slams on the brakes for some reason, inside the vehicle, we're going to have the vehicle beep at me. It's going to flash a warning on the screen. The gas pedal is going to push back against my foot a little bit, but we're not going to feel it because our foot's going to be lifting to go to the brake. And if it doesn't get to the brake fast enough, your Sentra is going to start to apply the brakes for you to help avoid or minimize an oncoming collision. That's your automatic emergency braking. The pedestrian detection that's also in the front of this, not run through the radar in the front, but instead run through the camera behind the windshield, behind the rear view mirror, is going to work the exact same as the automatic emergency braking, but it's going to happen much faster, and it's going to fully apply the brake instead of starting to apply the brake. And the reason is the person who just walked out in front of you with their head down, more likely on their cell phone, does not have forward momentum, and we're hoping to avoid giving them any forward momentum, as opposed to the car that hit the brakes in front of you that did have some forward momentum still. Blind spot indicators are on the inside of the vehicle. They will light up and stay lit up a dull orange as long as part of a vehicle is in your blind spot. Now, let's say, for example, our driver's side is lit up, and while it's lit up, I signal to go left. Now my blind spot indicator is going to flash and stay flashing, and it's going to beep at me a couple times inside the cabin here. Now, your blind spot indicators work at 32 kilometers an hour or faster, and the vehicle beside you needs to be in motion. You also have lane departure warning run through that camera up behind your rear view mirror. It's going to read the lines on either side of you as you're going down the highway, as this works at 60 kilometers an hour or faster. Once it reads the lines, if you start to drift out of your lane without signaling, your steering wheel, which is a haptic steering wheel, is going to vibrate. It's like hitting the rumble strips on the side of a highway. If you signal beforehand, it knows that you're not drifting out of your lane and you are intentionally coming out, and nothing will happen. It just continues on. We have rear cross traffic detection as well. So when I'm backing out of a parking spot, if there's anything coming at me from either side within approximately 2 car lengths, inside the vehicle, it's going to beep at me, and whichever side the movement's coming from, the blind spot indicator on that side of the vehicle will be flashing to let me know, hey, hold up, have a look, there's something coming, and it's coming from this side. And then we have rear sonar and rear emergency braking. So the rear sonar we've already seen with the backup camera, and I'm going to turn this on again in a moment here. The closer we get, the faster the beeping will get until we get down to a steady tone, and your rear emergency braking is going to kick in at that point approximately 1 foot away from whatever's behind you, it's going to fully stop the vehicle. It does not sound wonderful, but it does a great job. So we're going to try that out here. And there it is there. So that is the rear emergency braking, and it works remarkably well. Stops me about 1 foot away from whatever's behind me. Like I said, it doesn't sound great, but it works perfectly. Now the last thing that we are going to do is, with our headlights on auto, and I'll bump that brightness up there. So now up here on the dash, I can see my headlights are on because I've covered the sensor up top. You have high beam assist. So when I push my signal indicator to the high beam position, I see what looks like a green bullet with an A show up. What this means is when you're driving along at nighttime, because you need to be doing more than 40 kilometers an hour for this to work, if there is anything at all ahead of you, whether it's going the same direction or coming at you, your high beams will automatically turn off. The moment that there is nothing ahead of you, they will automatically come back on. Now, you do need to be in a dark enough area as well, because if you're residential, it's probably not going to work because most residential areas are lit up too bright. So I'm going to remove my notebook there so that the lights will go back out because it's too bright for the lights to be on right now. And there they go. That is all your safety features that come on this automatically, as well as 10 standard airbags with your vehicle. So we're going to press the down arrow again, and now we're going to go 1 screen to the right. Couple things in the settings. Now first, please do not be afraid to play with your settings. The very bottom has a factory reset, so even if you mess anything up beyond where you can fix it, all you got to do is come back here, hit factory reset, and you're all good. Now we're going to jump back to the top, and I want to go into driver assistance to make sure everything is turned on. So far so good. Speed limit sign is on. Parking aids. So I want to show my sonar. Now here's the difference with this. If I put this in reverse, I've got that there. When I put show sonar on, I don't really see a whole lot of difference, but it does give me a little more capability with the vehicle itself. So we're going to come back out. Rear cross traffic alert is on. Driver attention alert. We haven't talked about this. This is a neat little feature. With your lane departure warning, if in a short period of time, say 20 to 30 minutes, your lane departure warning goes off half a dozen times or so, up on your screen, you're going to get what looks like the picture of a coffee cup show up. As well, underneath it, it's going to ask you if it's time for a break. Your vehicle has recognized that you might not be as alert as you were starting out, and maybe it is time for a break to get out, stretch your legs, have a tea or a coffee, whatever you need to do just to wake up a little more. That, or you can simply press the OK button to ignore it and carry on. We're going to go down to our vehicle settings. Now, something to note here, clock. You can set your clock from here, but it is much easier to set it over on the infotainment system, and it sets on both screens from there. Vehicle settings. Now, by default, our vehicles will automatically unlock the vehicle when you turn them off. Most people prefer that it unlocks the moment they shift into park. So all you do is go to vehicle settings and then locking, auto door unlock, and set it for shift to park. Then you can back out of there, and that's all set perfectly. Then we have our wipers. You want to make sure that those are on speed dependent as well. Now, rear door alert by default is off. This is a safety feature that you can turn on if you have animals that you regularly take with you or a small child. We do recommend turning this on, and in that case I would recommend horn and alert, which is your top option here. What that will do is when you put something in the back seat by opening the back door. So if I'm sitting in the front seat here and I turn around and I place a book bag or something in the back seat, this will not trigger this. But if I open the back door, put something back there, a child, an animal, books, groceries, whatever, doesn't matter. Once I get where I'm going and I turn the vehicle off and I get out, within the first 15 seconds, if you do not open that back door, your horn is going to start to beep at you to let you know that you have forgotten something back there. And before you've ever gotten out, it will pop up with a message up here to tell you rear door alert is active. All you got to do is simply open the back door, take out whatever you put back there, and that stops happening. Or do it before it ever happens and it won't happen at all. It's a great safety feature, especially as we approach the summer. Maintenance. The 21 Sentra has an oil maintenance schedule of every 16,000 kilometers or once a year to have your oil changed. Now there's an oil control system here, which by default was set for 1,600 kilometers, and I'm just going to leave this alone. Your oil I've set for 16,000 kilometers. Now what this does is your oil control system will account for harsh conditions. So if you do a lot of short driving in sub-zero temperatures, or call it about 25 degrees or higher temperatures Celsius, that will affect how fast you need to change your oil, and you might need to do it sooner than that 16,000 kilometers. So as long as both of those are set, when your vehicle pops up to tell you you're due for oil, take it in for oil. Now, if you don't drive 16,000 kilometers a year, make note that don't go any longer than 1 year with the oil that you have in, and go back annually to get that done. We're going to customize the display here, which I've already done, but on the main menu, I want everything checked off except there is a blank screen here. And this is for future purposes. Nissan puts this in the software, so I've unchecked this just so that it's not there. Now, if you want it checked, you can do it, and then your driver assist display screen is just going to be blank when you're driving. Maybe you don't want any kind of distraction there. That's up to you. And then we're back to where we started. A couple last things to go over here. You do have an auto dimming rear view mirror, and you can see right now it's on by the green light. There is an on-off button here. This will automatically dim your mirror when you've got somebody who's behind you with high beams on, or maybe a large truck. You do have a moonroof up here, and very easily controlled through this button right here. Takes some time to get familiar with it. To close over the shade, it's just a manual close, and you just do so like that. Now the last thing I want to touch on is our key fob. Now, because it's a key fob, there is a battery inside, and that battery normally lasts for 2 to 4 years. Your very first indication that your battery is getting low is you'll get in, you'll put your foot on the brake, you'll hit the start button, and up top it will pop up and say incorrect key ID. Don't panic, you still have your key with you. It just means that the battery in your key fob is starting to get low. At that point, just wait for the message to go away, try again, and it should start. But the longer you go without changing the battery, the more frequently that message will pop up, until you hit a point that you just can't start your vehicle, or maybe the battery is dead and you can't get into it. On the back of the key fob, there's a little switch here that if I push it over and lift up, I have a key for the driver's side door. Once I get into the door, I want to take my key fob, put with my foot on the brake. I'm going to use the key fob, the Nissan emblem on it, to push down my start button. That will still start your vehicle for you. Works remarkably well, and that way you're not stuck. Now on the bottom of my key fob, I have my panic button, or for a lot of people, find my car in the parking lot. I have my trunk release right above that, which I do have the same button down here on the inside of the vehicle. Unlock, lock, and then for the remote start. No, most Nissan vehicles up to this point, you just hit the lock button, hold the top button for 5 seconds. What we're discovering with the newer Sentras, as well as the Rogues, is it's better to double tap the lock button and then hold the top button for 5 seconds. It will work a little more reliably. This will remote start your vehicle from up to 200 feet away. From there, once you get in and engage the vehicle by putting your foot on the brake and hitting the start button, everything is good to go. The remote start will keep the vehicle running for up to 10 minutes without getting in to engage it, but after that, if you don't engage the vehicle, it will turn the vehicle off. If 7 or 8 minutes in, you know that you're not getting out within the next couple minutes, do the same thing. So double tap your brake, your lock, press and hold the top button again for 5 seconds. It will add an additional 10 minutes to the count from wherever you're at. So if you've been running for 8 minutes, it will now run to the 18-minute mark. You can remote start twice without ever getting in, or once with one extension. After that, you have to physically get in the vehicle, engage it, put it in drive, and get up to 30 kilometers an hour in order to reset it. Now, if your vehicle is running through the remote start and you decide you're not going anywhere, just press and hold the top button for 2 seconds and it will turn it back off. Congratulations again on your 2021 Nissan Sentra SR Premium. This is an unbelievable vehicle. Ton of great features in this. I know that you're going to love it. If you still have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can call, text, email, or stop into O'Regan's Nissan at 60 Baker Drive in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. We'll do anything that we can to help you answer all your questions. I look forward to seeing you in for when you're in for your regular service and when it's time for your next vehicle.